When we talk about healing the body, starving cancer, and burning fat, one of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal is autophagy. Now, most people hear that word and immediately think it's something complex or inaccessible, but it's not. Autophagy is simply your body's way of cleaning house. It's a built-in system that breaks down and recycles old or damaged cells, including precancerous ones, and the best part, you can turn it on naturally through how you eat, when you eat, and what you eat. That's where this food hack becomes so powerful. What we're doing here is combining intermittent fasting with very specific types of foods that act like rocket fuel for autophagy. When you're fasting, your insulin levels drop, your body shifts from glucose metabolism to fat metabolism, and it starts sweeping up cellular waste. But here's the twist: fasting alone isn't the full story. What you break your fast with and what you consume during your eating window will determine whether your body moves toward healing or inflammation. So if you want to heal, starve cancer cells, and burn fat, you need to break your fast with compounds that enhance that autophagic state. Cruciferous vegetables, things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts are key. These are not just healthy vegetables. They contain sulforaphane, a compound that has been shown to activate phase Roman 2 detoxification enzymes and amplify autophagy. You're not just nourishing your body, you're sending a signal at the cellular level to clean up damaged material and optimize immune function. Another one is bone broth. It might sound simple, but bone broth is rich in amino acids like glycine and proline, which help repair the gut lining and support joint tissue. That's critical because a healthy gut isn't just about digestion, it's the front line of your immune system. A compromised gut barrier can leak toxins into your bloodstream, driving chronic inflammation and increasing disease risk. By refeeding your body with collagen, rich bone broth during your eating window, you're healing from the inside out. And don't overlook green tea. There's a reason why cultures with some of the longest lifespans drink it daily. Green tea is packed with catechins, especially egg, which has powerful antioxidant properties and has been shown to promote autophagy and inhibit the growth of cancer cells. So think about that. Just starting your day with a cup of green tea instead of sugary coffee isn't a small switch. It's a metabolic signal. It tells your body it's time to clean, repair, and restore. But there's also a timing piece to this. Many people make the mistake of snacking throughout the day, never giving their bodies a break. Every time you eat, especially carbs, you spike insulin and shut off autophagy. So the window in which you eat matters. A 16-8 fasting schedule, for example 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating, gives your body enough time to activate those regenerative pathways. And when you do eat, you're being deliberate with your food choices. That's the hack. You're not starving your body, you're teaching it to become more efficient. I want you to think of this like a system reset every day. You're using time, restricted eating to create space for healing. Then you're breaking that fast with nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods that work in synergy with your biology. Over time, this reduces visceral fat, boosts insulin sensitivity, and makes your body a hostile environment for abnormal or cancerous cells to grow. So instead of fighting disease after it shows up, you're engineering your metabolism to prevent it from ever taking hold. This is how you turn nutrition into a form of daily medicine, one that doesn't come from a pharmacy, but from a plate. This is how healing begins, not with a pill, but with a plan. Most people don't realize this, but cancer needs something very specific to grow: blood supply. Just like any living organism, cancer cells rely on nutrients and oxygen delivered through blood vessels. The more blood vessels they can hijack, the faster they grow. This process is called angiogenesis, and it's the foundation of tumor development. But here's the good news. Certain foods have the power to shut that process down. These are what I call anti-angiogenic foods, foods that literally starve cancer cells by preventing them from building their blood supply. What's fascinating is how the body already has mechanisms in place to monitor and regulate abnormal cell growth. The immune system is constantly patrolling, identifying damaged or mutated cells and clearing them out. But when inflammation is high, when the diet is poor, and when metabolic dysfunction sets in, that system becomes overwhelmed. That's when tumors can start to grow quietly, unnoticed. So instead of waiting for that moment, we use food as a frontline defense, strategically choosing ingredients that inhibit angiogenesis and boost the immune system's surveillance capacity. Let's talk about garlic. This isn't just a seasoning, it's a medicinal powerhouse. Garlic contains sulfur compounds like allicin that have been shown to inhibit tumor growth, block angiogenesis, and stimulate immune activity. When you crush garlic and let it sit for a few minutes before cooking, you activate those compounds and enhance their potency. It's a small change, but over time, the impact on your biology is massive. Another heavy hitter is turmeric. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, has been studied extensively for its anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer effects. What's really impressive is that curcumin not only inhibits angiogenesis, but also disrupts cancer cell signaling. It interferes with their ability to communicate and replicate. That's huge because you're not just slowing cancer down, you're actively creating an internal environment that works against it. And when paired with black pepper, curcumin absorption increases dramatically, so always combine the two when cooking. Then there's green tea. It's not just a metabolism booster, it's an anti-cancer shield. Green tea is rich in catechins like egg, which are known to block new blood vessel formation in tumors. This isn't theory, it's been observed in clinical settings and replicated in research studies. Drinking green tea daily provides a slow drip of anti-angiogenic compounds that protect your body at the cellular level, and when you're in a fasted state, those compounds work even more efficiently. But berries, especially blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries, bring something unique to the table. They're loaded with anthocyanins and ellagic acid, which have strong anti-tumor properties. These compounds help regulate oxidative stress and reduce inflammation, while simultaneously impairing angiogenesis. Think of them as metabolic cleanup agents. Every time you eat a handful, you're not just enjoying a snack, you're arming your cells with protection. Tomatoes, especially when cooked, are another strategic food. They're high in lycopene, a carotenoid that has been shown to suppress tumor growth and reduce cancer risk, particularly prostate cancer. Cooking tomatoes increases the bioavailability of lycopene, so even something as simple as a tomato-based soup or sauce becomes a tool for disease prevention. It's also important to consider synergy. No single food will do everything, but when you combine multiple anti-angiogenic ingredients throughout your day, garlic with greens, turmeric with tea, berries with yogurt, you create a layered effect. You're consistently blocking the fuel lines that cancer cells depend on, and in doing that, you're shifting the odds in your favor. You see, the body is always adapting to the signals you give it. If your diet is full of processed foods, excess sugar, and inflammatory oils, you're unintentionally creating a growth-friendly environment for disease. But if you're feeding yourself nutrients that block blood vessel formation, regulate inflammation, and support immune intelligence, you're flipping that entire equation. You're taking control. You're not waiting for disease to arrive. You're removing the invitation altogether. One of the biggest misconceptions we've been sold is that fat is the enemy. For decades, we were told to avoid fat at all costs. Go low, fat, free, skim everything. But the real problem wasn't fat, it was sugar. What's been quietly wreaking havoc on our bodies, increasing the risk of cancer, inflammation, and metabolic disease, isn't the fat in food. It's the excess refined carbs and added sugars that spike insulin and disrupt hormonal balance. If you want to heal your body and burn fat effectively, you need to understand the power of eating the right fats while eliminating those sneaky sources of sugar that hijack your metabolism. Let's talk about what happens when you consistently consume refined carbohydrates. Your blood sugar rises rapidly, and in response, your pancreas floods your system with insulin. Insulin's job is to store that sugar, often as fat. But when insulin is elevated all the time, which is what happens when you graze on sugary snacks, bread, pasta, or even fruit juices, it shuts down your ability to burn fat for fuel. It also keeps inflammation high, which over time damages your mitochondria, your cell's energy centers. And when mitochondrial function goes down, healing slows down and fat accumulates. But when you swap sugar for anti-inflammatory fats, something powerful starts to happen. Your insulin levels stabilize. Your body shifts into a state where it can access stored fat, and your cells begin repairing instead of surviving. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like wild, caught salmon, sardines, flax seeds, and chia seeds don't just support fat loss, they fight inflammation at the cellular level. These fats integrate into your cell membranes, making them more fluid and responsive, which improves communication between cells, strengthens the immune system, and protects against chronic disease. And it's not just about omega-3. Monounsaturated fats like those found in avocados, extra virgin olive oil, and macadamia nuts play a crucial role in regulating hormones, especially those tied to metabolism and fat storage. These fats also increase adiponectin, a hormone that helps break down fat and regulate glucose levels. More adiponectin means better fat burning, lower inflammation, and a body that's more metabolically flexible, which means you can switch between burning carbs and fat more easily. But here's the part people overlook. You can't just add healthy fats on top of a sugar-heavy diet. You have to replace the sugar. You have to eliminate the processed carbohydrates, the refined grains, the syrups and juices and sauces that sneak in sugar under different names. Once you take that step and fuel your body with healing fats instead, everything starts to align. Your energy stabilizes, your cravings decrease, your brain feels sharper, and fat starts to burn as a primary fuel source. It's all about what signal you're sending your body. Every bite of food sends a message. Sugar tells your body to store and inflame. Healthy fats tell your body to heal and burn. The choice is constant, and it's powerful. Healing begins when we stop feeding disease and start fueling function. One of the most overlooked drivers of disease and weight gain, especially in today's world, is hormonal imbalance, and at the center of that problem is something few people talk about: estrogen dominance. Now, estrogen isn't bad. It's an essential hormone for both men and women. But the issue arises when the levels become excessive or unbalanced, especially relative to other hormones like progesterone or testosterone. What's more concerning is that we're not just dealing with naturally occurring estrogen anymore. We're surrounded by foods and environmental compounds that act like estrogen in the body. These are known as xenoestrogens, and they are hiding in plain sight. Look at the modern diet: processed soy isolates, ultra-refined seed oils, packaged snacks, canned goods lined with BPA, and even certain grains. All of these can act as estrogen mimickers. When consumed regularly, they create a hormonal environment that promotes fat storage, increases inflammation, and feeds hormone-sensitive tumors. And it happens slowly over time, so most people don't even notice it until symptoms start piling up. Weight gain that won't budge, mood swings, fatigue, disrupted sleep, and even increased cancer risk, particularly breast and prostate cancers. The good news is, just as food can be part of the problem, it can also be the solution. One of the most effective ways to begin rebalancing estrogen levels is to eliminate the sources of these hormone-disrupting compounds and replace them with foods that actively help the body detoxify and metabolize excess estrogen. Cruciferous vegetables are the first line of defense. Broccoli sprouts, kale, arugula, cauliflower, these are not just nutrient-dense greens. They contain a compound called indole 3-carbinol, which supports estrogen metabolism in the liver. When your liver is functioning optimally, it breaks down excess estrogen and clears it from the body safely. Without that detoxification, estrogen builds up and gets reabsorbed, fueling the very problems we're trying to prevent. Another incredibly effective food group is mushrooms, particularly white button mushrooms. They've been shown to block the enzyme aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. That's a powerful mechanism, especially for individuals looking to optimize their hormonal balance and reduce estrogen-driven conditions. And then there's flaxseed. A lot of people avoid it because it contains phytoestrogens, but here's the nuance. The type of phytoestrogens in flaxseed actually compete with harmful estrogens at receptor sites, helping to reduce the overall estrogenic load on the body. At the same time, flaxseed provides fiber that helps bind to excess hormones in the gut and excrete them more efficiently. It's also worth mentioning how crucial it is to avoid plastic containers, especially when heating food. Plastic leaches endocrine, disrupting chemicals directly into your meals. Switching to glass, stainless steel, or ceramic isn't just about being eco-friendly, it's about protecting your hormone health every single day. This is a real shift in thinking. It's not about a single food, supplement, or detox product. It's about making consistent choices that remove hormonal stressors and add in natural protectors. And when you do that, you give your body the opportunity to regulate itself the way it was designed to. If you want to heal deeply and burn fat effectively, you have to stop feeding the imbalances that created the problem in the first place. If you really want to heal the body, fight disease, and optimize fat burning, you have to go deeper than calories or macros. You have to think at the cellular level, and that means focusing on your mitochondria, those tiny power plants inside your cells that are responsible for producing energy. When mitochondria are healthy, your body runs efficiently. You feel sharp, your metabolism is active, and your immune system is alert. But when they become sluggish or damaged, everything slows down. Fat burning stalls, brain fog increases, and your ability to recover and repair begins to break down. That's where functional foods come in. These aren't just nutrient-rich. They directly support mitochondrial health and energy metabolism. One of the most underrated examples is dark chocolate. Not the sugary candy bar kind, but cacao loche, sugar dark chocolate. It contains polyphenols that stimulate nitric oxide production, which improves blood flow and oxygen delivery to cells. Better oxygenation means your mitochondria can work more efficiently, generating more ATP, the energy currency of the body. Then you have medicinal mushrooms like lion's mane, rice, and cordyceps. These are not just trendy ingredients. They've been used in ancient medicine for centuries to improve vitality and endurance. Modern science is now catching up, showing how these compounds enhance mitochondrial function, reduce oxidative stress, and even support the growth of new brain cells. Incorporating them into your daily routine, whether through powders, teas, or whole food forms, gives your body a biological edge. Leafy greens are another key player here. Foods like spinach, Swiss chard, and beet greens are rich in magnesium, a mineral that's required for every step of the energy production process inside the mitochondria. Without enough magnesium, your cells can't produce or utilize energy effectively, and when that system falters, everything else from fat metabolism to immune response follows suit. What's important to realize is that your cells are constantly responding to the inputs you give them. Every bite of food either strengthens your energy systems or taxes them. When you fill your plate with functional foods that feed your mitochondria, you're doing far more than satisfying hunger. You're training your body to heal, to resist disease, and to run at full capacity. If your goal is true health and sustainable fat loss, then you need to start eating not just for your body, but but for the engines that power it. Most people think food is only about nutrients, vitamins, proteins, carbs, fats, but that's only part of the story. What's often missed is how the timing of food, and even the temperature of what you consume, can dramatically influence your metabolism. This goes beyond what you eat and gets into how your body responds to food under different physical states. When you learn to pair the right timing with thermal stress, cold and hot exposure, you unlock another layer of healing, energy, and fat burning. Let's start with something simple: drinking cold lemon water before your first meal. That one small act triggers something called thermogenesis. Your body has to work slightly harder to warm the fluid to body temperature, and that effort increases calorie burn. More importantly, the cold exposure activates your sympathetic nervous system and boosts alertness. Add a squeeze of lemon, and now you've introduced a shot of vitamin C and detoxifying enzymes that prepare the liver and digestive system for what's coming. You're not just hydrating, you're priming your system for metabolic action. Now, on the opposite end, think about how you end your meals. Most people reach for dessert or simply stop eating, but there's a strategic move that can amplify digestion and enhance nutrient absorption. Hot herbal teas. Ginger tea, peppermint, or cinnamon. Infused teas have powerful effects on the gut, helping to reduce bloating, soothe inflammation, and even regulate blood sugar. The warmth signals the parasympathetic nervous system to slow down and focus on digestion, which is exactly what you want post-meal. What's really interesting is how these temperature-based food habits, starting cold, ending hot, can influence your internal thermostat and support better energy utilization throughout the day. Cold exposure stimulates brown fat activity, which is the kind of fat that actually burns energy to keep you warm. When you get that system going early, you enhance calorie burn for hours afterward. And finishing with something warm in the evening helps wind the body down, promoting deeper rest and repair. This isn't about extreme changes. It's about stacking small, intelligent habits that align with how your body naturally operates. By manipulating temperature and timing, you're sending signals to your nervous system, your hormones, your metabolism, and over time, those signals reshape your health. Simple shifts, done consistently, can completely change the way your body functions. So when you step back and look at all 6 of these food strategies, activating autophagy, starving cancer through anti-angiogenic foods, embracing healing fats, eliminating hidden estrogens, fueling your mitochondria, and using timing and temperature to your advantage, you begin to see a pattern. This isn't about crash diets or trendy fixes. It's about using food as information. Every choice you make sends a message to your body: to heal, to protect, to burn fat, to fight disease. And when you stack those choices day after day, your body responds with clarity, energy, strength, and resilience. You are not a passive participant in your health. You have the tools, you have the control, and it starts with what you put on your plate.